I'm going to take you step by step on how we make our pig waterers for our pastured pork.
Today we are joining Christine as she assembles and installs the best pig waterer for our pastured pig operation. Want to follow along and build your own pig waterer in 5 minutes or less? Check out the product links in the description of this video to purchase everything you need to build this durable, safe, and hassle-free pig waterer. And be sure to watch until the end of this video to see what Christine keeps in her Waterer Fix-It kit. Now let's get started.
Hi, I'm Christine Hernandez, Livestock Specialist for Heifer USA, and today we are here in our workstation and I'm going to show you how we put together our pig waterers. There are a number of different types of pig waterers that you can buy or that you can make yourself at home. We have raised pigs here for a number of years and I've tried multiple different pig waterers, and just over the last year or so, I have really settled on this type of waterer and have made it work really well for us. First of all, we purchased a 50-gallon Rubbermaid water tank. You can buy different gallon sizes of these, but 50 gallons works really well for us. With our production system, I use one 50-gallon waterer per 50 pigs. So if I have 100 pigs in a batch, I'll have 2 of these waterers out there for them. After you have your water, you need to get yourself an automatic float valve, and there's a few different brands out there as well. You can get one of these yellow ones. This is a Jobe valve. There's also this XtraFlo. We just get both of these off of Amazon. So the way these float valves work is that they get screwed into your water tank, and you want this opening to be facing the bottom of your tank with this design, because that's where your water is going to be flowing out of. And the string is going to determine when your water is going to shut off. So if you want the water higher within your water tank, you want a longer string in between your float valve and this button. If you want less water, it needs to be closer. In order to install either of these float valves into your water tank, you're going to need to drill a hole into the side of your tank. And to do that, we just use a hole saw. You need to make sure that you have the proper size hole saw that fits over the diameter of your valve. We get 3/4 inch float valves because that's the size hoses that we use. To use a hole saw, we'll have a cordless drill. Now that we have everything that we need, let's get started. With these specific Rubbermaid waterers, you need to make sure that you put your float valve on the correct side. So we want to put our float valve on the side that's flat compared to the side that has the slight incline. Okay. Bam. You did it. There's a few differences between these two different types of float valves. So the blue one is the XtraFlo, the yellow one is the Jobe valve. One of the differences is going to be the cost. So these yellow Jobe valves are going to be a little bit more expensive than the blue XtraFlo valves. But something else that is different is going to be where your string attaches to your float valve. So on this Jobe valve, your string attaches to the bottom of your buoy. And on the blue XtraFlo valve, you can adjust it from the top, which is what I really like about these blue ones, because if I need to change the water level within my waterers, I can visualize and see what I'm doing with the string, rather than with the Jobe valve, I have to do it underwater and kind of just guess or hope that I'm doing it right. So I'm going to use pipe thread seal tape. And I'm going to put this around the float valve, and that's just going to make sure that the threads are all sealed and you won't have any water leaks. You want to make sure that you put this on in the clockwise direction. So in whatever direction your adapters are going to be threaded on there, that's the direction you want your tape to go. Now I'm going to put the float valves through the hole that we drilled. And you want your rubber washer to be on the inside. The threading on our float valves is going to be pipe thread, which is different than hose thread. So we just buy an adapter from the hardware store so that we can use our regular garden hoses to get water here. One of the additions that I've made to this waterer over the last few batches of pigs is making sure that I can run their electric wire over top of it so that the pigs cannot physically get into the waterer. Pigs absolutely love water. They like to be submerged in it if possible. And so if pigs get in your water, it's possible that they're going to break your float valve. And so just running a strand of electric wire over top prevents that from happening. And to do that, I just take some of our wood post insulators and I attach them onto the lip of the waterer with some screws. And you want these to be placed far enough back so that a few pigs can drink out of your water at the same time, and far enough back so that when a pig drinks out of it, especially if it has floppy ears, that it doesn't encounter that electric wire. This is just to keep them from getting into it, not to keep them from drinking out of it. Start to finish, this pig water could take you less than 5 minutes to build, and now it's ready to be installed with our pigs. Now that we have installed our float valve into our Rubbermaid tank and screwed on our insulators, it is ready to be installed and put out to pasture with the pigs. So we have 150 pigs in this batch. So I'm going to be adding them a third waterer so that there's plenty of water space for all of them. When putting multiple waterers out with the pigs, I like to use the least number of hoses as possible. So I usually bring a Y connection, and I prefer a brass connection because it's more sturdy, less likely to break. So it's really important that you have your waterers on level ground. If you've raised pigs for a long time, you may know that finding level ground can be a little difficult in some areas. So you can always put rocks or wood or bricks under there to make sure that your water is going to be level. So what I do is I hook up the hose Y to one of the waterers and have my main water hose coming into that one. And then I just take a shorter hose and I'm going to connect both waterers together. The water tank that's directly connected to our water hose is going to fill first, and then it will start filling our second waterer, but it should just take a few minutes to fill one of them and then move on to the next. And then I just take my POLYWIRE, clip it onto these insulators, and then that keeps the pigs from having access to the back part of the water or having access to the float valve. So now that I have the POLYWIRE running across the water, I can adjust the height of the float valve if necessary. That way my float valve doesn't hit the POLYWIRE so that it's not too high and water overflows the waterer. So I'm just going to adjust the height by adjusting the rope on the float valve. These Rubbermaid water tubs are very durable and they could handle some wear and tear. The pigs will come up and chew on the rim of it sometimes, and that doesn't cause any cracking or issues with that. But as long as you're careful with it, as you're moving it from paddock to paddock and you're not just throwing it around or throwing it in the bed of your vehicle, these will last you a very long time.
Oh shoot, I forgot there's no sound in space. Let me try that again.
Another reason why I really like these Rubbermaid water totes is because they're lightweight, so I can move them from paddock to paddock by myself, and I can dump them over by myself to ensure to get clean, fresh water to the pigs. They're very easy to clean out with a scrub brush, so we can use this for cattle or for sheep. If we have our pasture-raised turkeys, they could also be using this water if necessary.
And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. The one, the only, Christine Hernandez presents the Great Waterer Fix-It Kit.
Since Since we raise our batches of pigs in certain pastures, that's usually pretty far away from our central meeting place or our workshop. And so just to help keep things efficient, I've created a water fix-it kit that stays with our pigs and can be connected to our waters. So this contains things that I may need to fix any type of water leak that we may have at the water itself or in the hose. So for example, we have some extra rubber washers. This always needs to go into the female hose end. And as I'm moving waters or spraying the pigs down or filling their wallow, sometimes those rubber washers fall out. So it's nice to always have extra ones around. And then I have a male end and a female end water part, along with clamps to replace them if needed, a utility knife if I need to cut the hose and put in a new end, and then a flathead screwdriver, and that is what I use to tighten the hose clamps around the hose. Thank you so much for watching our video on how we make our pig waterers for our pastured pork. If you decide to make these type of waterers for your farm and for your pigs, please let us know how it goes. I hope it goes really well for you. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. See you next time.